and welcome to the Everyday Board Game Podcast with your host, Daniel.
And Daniel.
Daniel, good afternoon, sir.
How's it going?
Oh, I could be better. Listeners of the podcast will already hear right now that I am a little slightly under the weather. It's allergies. We have been suffering from some of the worst wind.
It's our windy season.
Yeah.
We are getting, right now, like, we weren't even supposed to have this wind today. Our wind was supposed to be tomorrow.
Yes.
And it's supposed to get to, like, 40 to 50 miles per hour gusts. Mm-hmm. So.
Yep. And so welcome to New Mexico.
The allergies, oof.
Yeah, so they're a real thing. I've been taking medicine, so I should be fine. But if I start, like, hacking a little bit, I apologize for our listeners. I'm going to do my best not to. But in case you're wondering why I'm not as loud and as boisterous as I normally am, much to your benefits, that is why.
You can also move closer.
Oh, sure, I will.
Another thing, too, is we missed last week, recording-wise, and that's just because it fell on Valentine's Day. And
yep.
Your wife celebrates. My wife can't stand that day, so I got lucky and played video games.
Next year we'll trade.
No, thank you.
No way. Nobody in this situation would be okay with that.
No.
Yeah, no, it turned out okay. She didn't buy me board games, but she did buy me a couple little gifts that were pretty cool, I'm not complaining. A lot of Girl Scout cookies, which was pretty awesome.
Well, I think a big part of it, too, for, like, me and my wife is the anniversary of us, starting to date is 2 days after Valentine's Day. It's February 16th, and we've been together 11 years now. So, she's like, why do that when we can do that? And I was like, okay, don't bother me any.
Yeah, well, she's a very logical thinker.
She is. She very much is. And she's just never been a big fan of it, the manufactured holiday that it is. If you celebrate, have fun with it, but yeah, I've been with people who really, really want to celebrate it, and then been with a couple people like her just like, nah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. No, there's nothing wrong with that. I respect that, but my wife definitely doesn't agree, and therefore, we could not film last week.
Yep.
Despite my efforts, because she even said earlier that weekend, she was like, "Hey, yeah, so like, what's the plans for Tuesday?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm filming with Daniel, And I knew she already had plans. I was just messing with her. She was like, "Wait, what?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's Tuesday. I'm filming with Daniel." She was like, "No, you spend time with me." I'm like, "No, it's a Tuesday. That's our schedule." And I just kept egging her on. Until I knew I pushed it just slightly too far, and I was like, "No, hold on. I'm kidding. I already canceled it. Don't worry." And then I frantically texted you and said, "Hey, I can't film."
She doesn't listen to this podcast.
No, I don't blame her. We don't. No.
I have to re-listen to it when I edit it.
That's true. We have you're our viewer, aren't you?
Right now, yeah.
The one who listens. No. So it was a funny week last week, but overall, I've been playing a lot of games lately.
So have I. Actually, I did play Snowtails finally.
Oh yeah?
I liked it a lot. My wife enjoyed it. One of our mutual friends did not like it because there's a trick to it where if you're going around curves, you want to keep your Huskies off level. So you want to play a 4 here and a 3 here. This way they can veer properly.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, she just kept drawing like 5s and stuff like that, and she couldn't. So it is a bit lucky. I mean, I ran off the track and I was eliminated going into the first turn because if you take so many dents, fills your entire hand up, your thing's wrecked and you can't go.
That makes sense.
But it played pretty quickly. I enjoyed it. It was fun. But yeah, so if I had played it before that, I think it might be in the top 100. That's how much I enjoyed it.
Ooh,
even with me getting eliminated.
I refreshed my mind, which you were there last week.
Mm-hmm.
You got a chance to play that Condottiere game that I've been telling you about.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of it, but I liked what it did.
Yeah. I just like how drastically different. And that was the best part about last week's game day that you and I had with a mutual friend of ours, is that I only went with one Shelf of Shame game at all. Mm-hmm. And that was Samurai. And I enjoyed that one quite a bit.
That wasn't too bad either.
Yeah. And then every other game was just ones that's like, I already knew I liked. I already wanted to try.
My favorite was the last one of the night. In fact,
Switching Tracks. What was that last one?
My favorite two were the first game we played that night and the last game we played that night.
Switching Tracks, wow.
No.
What was the first game we played?
No, we didn't. Because we were waiting on our buddy to play Switching Tracks.
Oh, what was it that we played?
Buried Treasure was the first one,
yeah.
and then Sleuth was the last one.
Sleuth was the last one. That's right. I mean, doubling up on Sid Saxon.
Yeah,
man.
that was fun. Those two were my favorite. Switching tracks was fine. It's a nice little pick up and deliver. I love the little engine building that it does.
Right, it does it really well.
Yeah.
I like just shooting across the board. I think that's hilarious.
It's an ugly game, though. Oof.
Yeah. It's all right. I mean,
Mind you, we didn't really play that many pretty games. I think Samurai was probably the prettiest game.
Buried Treasure.
Well, yeah, Buried Treasure.
But there's not much to do with that one. Yeah.
It's just you're playing cards and trying to get sets.
Yeah, but I actually think Samurai, functionally and like aesthetically, it's actually pretty darn nice. And those pieces,
Well, yeah, no, like I said, it was probably the prettiest game we played outside of Buried Treasure's art.
Yeah.
Because Buried Treasure is just cards that you're collecting and stealing from other people.
Tokens, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, but Samurai was nice. The board, nice pastel blue, and then the pieces were really nice. The screens were a little eh.
Yeah, they were okay. I mean,
but everything else was fine. I enjoyed it. But
yeah, either way. Before we go too much into this, we're counting down our top 100 games as of February 2023. We did our last list about a year and a half ago. Last two episodes, we went through number 100 through 81, then 80 through 61.
Yep.
Today we're going through 60 through 41. So, each round, or each number, we're going to flip our coin of doom. That'll decide who goes first. We talk about it. Talk even more. Are you ready to get into this, Daniel?
yeah, I just realized I put the wrong numbers on our thing. But yes, I am ready to get into this.
Oh, that's fine. It's more or less close enough. But while you update, let's go ahead and flip the coin of doom.
Starting with...
That one is tails, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not used to this.
Starting with me.
Yep, that's right.
My first game is one that actually moved up, and it's funny.
Wait, no, we're going to... You were right the first time. 60 through... Yes, you were right. We've only done 2 episodes before.
Well, I missed a page. All right, well, I got to bust out my phone.
Well,
why don't you go ahead and start us
all right, I'll start us off because of technical difficulties. Da-da-da-da-da. So mine dropped from number 19 last time on my list. And I put it on here because I had gotten a newer version of it. And I think I got that after. Pretty sure I got the newer version after I got the older version. And after we did our rankings.
Okay.
Because this list dropped from 19 to 60, which it's still pretty high up there, don't get me wrong. Any of these top 100s are great games. But this one is definitely an overhaul. It looks prettier, and it has streamlined rules. This is Kalis 1303. I like this one a lot.
That one is good.
Yeah, I know you were pretty happy with it when you played.
Mm-hmm.
What I think this does well is this does worker placement. This is one of the first worker placement games around.
Mm-hmm.
And which is absolutely awesome. Like I like worker placement as a mechanism, and one of the original ones, and especially the fact that this has like engine building. You have that row of buildings that will activate.
Yes.
And only certain ones will activate, assuming the provost is far enough along, which you can kind of bid him along. Some people absolutely hate that. I absolutely love that feature. Which I mean, don't get me wrong. I tend to play pretty passively. I'm maybe pushing it far anyway. And I play with mostly passive groups, so we don't really move it too much. But I like the ability for that one. Like, yeah, I'll just chuck a coin at him and move him one space over just so he can mess with everybody. Good, fun time. That's Kalis 1303, the new remake with, I think, Andrew Bosley's art.
Yes, that is a nice one. I do really enjoy it. So my number 60, because, I went and forgot it, is Boomerang. Specifically, I put USA on this one because it's the one I physically own. I've played this one in Australia.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but all in all, it's I guess you consider it like a flip and write, where you're trying to either get sets of something, as well as some other stuff. It's like sets of tokens that allow you to get as many as you have on there, you can score them. Then you also have other sets that you're doing because you're also trying to collect a certain grouping of them because a certain color, because you'll get a bonus if you fill out all the colors there. I liked it a lot. I really, really enjoyed the Boomerang series. I do want to try Europe. That's the only one I haven't tried yet. And so, but yeah, I think it's one of the better flipping rights.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's an awesome one. And it's not even a flipping right. It's just a drafting right.
Well, yeah, it's kind of a draft. Yeah, you're drafting the cards.
Yeah. But then you flip them over as you're playing them. Like, I think this is significantly better. And I don't tend to like rolling rights.
Yeah.
And I don't tend to like drafting. But what Scott Almes, I believe he's the designer of this, what he did to that game is way better. It's my number 179, by the way.
It was originally number 76, the Australian version, so it did move up.
Nice. So with the addition of the USA version, with the broken Bigfoot rule that is very polarizing.
that is, I'm sorry, it makes me laugh.
I think it's hilarious, but I also like it when designers do malevolent things
like that. Yeah,
it's like an in-joke. So for listeners of the podcast who haven't seen it, I'll explain what we're talking about. There, in order to score animals, pictures of animals, you have to have a pair of them. And so if I have two bears, I'll score a number of points for my bears.
Yeah.
Well, there's a Bigfoot and it's worth 9 points, but there's only one card, so it is impossible to actually draft the Bigfoot. So there you go.
The thing about it too is that when I've played this a couple times, when you and me played it, we only realized that after the fact.
Yes.
And then when I taught it to some other people, I actually went out and told them,
yes.
you know, because I had an unfair advantage because I knew.
Right.
I'm like, there's only one Bigfoot in here. Don't try to look for the match of the Bigfoot because you're not going to find it.
It's just there for humor purposes.
Yeah, for humor purposes. And so I go into that knowing this way I can, you know, be nice to them.
Exactly. All right, number 59. I'll start us off. My number 59 is a game that has since created a meme amongst our gaming group and amongst others. This was number, I think, 47 on my list last year. So not too much of a drop, but a little bit of a drop. Just because so many good games came in. Quite simply, this is Lewis and Clark: The Expedition.
Oh, New Orleans.
Yep. So anytime him and I say, "Oh, it's New Orleans all over again," that's our friend Dom.
I believe
is coming back from way back when, and yeah, I mean it's just absolutely hilarious.
It is a crossover. Yeah.
It is another crossover. Number 4. Keep count at home. My bet was 15.
I had, and mine was 10. I had it at 85. That was my number 85.
So not too far away, but Lewis and Clark: The Expedition. I have the upgraded bits. Haven't played with them much yet. I like it. It's hard to get to the table because I see a lot of people say they would never play it more than 2. I think I'm okay with 3.
I liked it with 3. 3 was fine.
We also had a computer automating the whole thing.
Yeah,
too.
that's true too. The computer cleaned it all up.
Right. So I think in real life maybe 3 is my maximum because even then it's still
even then with the computer it took a little bit.
Right.
So.
Exactly. But as far as being like a mid heavyweight Euro game, it doesn't get much better. And that racing part of it is just absolutely brilliant. You're moving up that track, trying to get to the West Coast. First one to get there wins. Boom and done. We love it.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
So my number 59 was not ranked last year, and I'm going to have to go through this as we're talking. So, but I really, really enjoy this one. Speaking of Scott Almes, this is another one of his games, but it's not by Gamelin.
Oh, okay. It's by Colossal Games, right?
Yep.
Almanac:
The Dragon Road. It's a worker placement, and I've talked about this before. I love worker placements. That's one of my favorite mechanisms, if not my favorite mechanism. But what he did with this one, because it's a storybook, and that's your game board, and so every page of that game board has a different role when it comes to the worker placement. So, best way I could do this is like the very first page. It's the same for everybody. When you're at that spot, there's 4 tents, and you have 3 workers. You can place your worker anywhere on the board if it's open. However, if you go into one specific tent, none of your workers can go into that tent again. Mm-hmm. I love that. And then there's other rules where when you're placing workers, they have to go in a straight line, or they have to be directly after another worker or before another worker, because we have to ascend ladders or something like that.
Right.
I loved every bit about it. I love the story to it. The components are fine. The insert is meh. it does its job, but it's still because like I have the other one, Crystal Peaks.
Yes.
It's the same insert, but they don't use the same type of pieces, so it doesn't fit completely right in there. But I really, really do enjoy this worker placement style game. It's phenomenal and it's fun. That's the big thing about this.
Yes.
It's fun to play.
It makes it almost like it's like Mansions of Madness if they made a pure Euro game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like there's something so different about that branching rulebook. This was number 285 for me, by the way. The branching book of all the different pages, different rules that happen, and I love the fact that one of the players, whoever's lead, gets to pick the next adventure they go to.
So you have two choices: you go to this page or this page, and it tells you kind of what is you're going to get a lot of and what you're not going to get the least amount of. And so it's like, okay, well, I'm really set up for me to get this stuff, or I have contracts that need this stuff. So let's go over here. No, I don't want to go there. I need the other stuff. What are you doing?
That's right. No, that's a good one. It's a very good pick. I kind of am a little sad that it's not on my list, but it does make sense, too.
Yeah.
All right. Our number 58, and that is you.
All right. So this one for sure was not ranked. The one I'm picking here. I have to do some checking here in a minute to see if its predecessor was, because I did enjoy the predecessor. But this is a remake version of a game with a new theme on it. And this one is Marvel Remix. If you're familiar with Fantasy Realm, it plays a lot like Fantasy Realm, where once 10, you're trying to collect a certain number of cards. I think it's 7.
Yeah, you always have a hand of 7.
7.
Yep.
And you draw one card and discard one card. So the way it works is you can draw from the discard pile and put it into your hand and discard into the discard pile, because the game end trigger is 10 cards in the discard pile. And so if you're drawing straight off the deck and then discarding, you're quickening the pace off of it. So it's kind of like, okay, well, this is not going to work with me, so let me do this. Okay, well, this works, so I'm going to discard this one, but now there's 2 cards in the discard pile. We're sending it out there and trying to end the game quicker, because it's like, and that's a way to do it. If you're happy with your hand, you can just be like, nope, don't like that card, nope, don't like that card, and you can force on your turn the end game. Marvel Remix does exactly the same thing, but it's using Marvel characters, but there is a slight rule in this one, is that you have 2 decks that are sharing a discard pile. You have a villain deck, and you have the remix deck, which has like locations, artifacts, heroes, sidekicks. The special rule on this one is that villains will give you negative points unless there's certain requirements, just kind of like other cards in Fantasy Realm. However, you cannot win the game and you'll get 0 points if you don't have a hero or sidekick and a villain in your hand. So if you don't have a villain, and your entire hand is 0. If you don't have a hero or sidekick, if you do have a villain, your entire score is 0. You don't score your hand at all. And I like that, because it's you're trying to sit there as like, I know I got to get this bad guy, so this is Sentinels. I need to start collecting mutants, but I don't have mutants in my hand, so I'm hoping they're discarded out, or I'm gonna have to just start drawing into this draw deck. And it's like, but I do really enjoy the Fantasy Realm system, because I own both Fantasy Realm and Marvel Remix. I love Marvel theme. I'm a big superhero guy. I love comic book stuff. And so I think it just works. It works really well. It's very pleasant. It's very fast. It's a great filler game. So my number 58, Marvel Remix.
Awesome. My number 58 is a game all about combo tactics. This is brand new to my list because I had not played it at the time, or either I hadn't played it or didn't own it last time I did the rankings, but I do own it now. And that's because every time you play it, one card will lead into another card, which lets you do another action, which leads you to another action, which you could choose to do multiple actions on top of it. And I love it when games allow you to have that absolute levels of shenanigans throughout every turn. And some turns might be real simple, like one action, done. Because ultimately you're playing a single card, which you're trying to use up all of the abilities and icons on other cards, and you do so by sliding it into the board. This has a theme that I already really like. I love underwater themes. I love combo-tastic. The very first time I played this, I was a little confused. It took me a while, but after that, I fell in love with it. Aquatica.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I think that might be another crossover. I'll have to check here.
Yeah, we'll double check that here in a bit. But yeah, Aquatica. It's an absolutely brilliant game. I think, was it you that showed it to me?
No, it was Nate.
Oh, that's right. Yes. No, it's awesome. I can see why it's Dice Tower Essential, and
It was my number 76.
Your number 76. It's number 5. Yeah, everything you said about it, 100% agree. Aquatica, it's awesome. Ready for our number 57?
Oh, yeah.
All right. You'll be starting us off? Or no, I'll be starting us off. Because I am heads, and I don't know how heads works on this coin. 57 is a dexterity game. Have you ever gone to an arcade with me?
No, I have not.
Yeah, you and I have never been in the same arcade before.
Nope.
That's a shame. We need to fix that. Because I have been told I am a hustler at a certain arcade game.
Oh, I know you're a hustler at, what is it called? Air hockey.
Mm-hmm. That's what people say. I mean, people don't tend to beat me at it. I absolutely love air hockey. Been playing it for years. I played it 2 weeks ago with my son, like for the first time in a while, and absolutely destroyed him.
Poor kid.
Well, no, I don't take it easy on him. Like, I won't. I let him get a few points in, but just to make him feel better about it.
Do.
But then I was like, all right, here we go. Snipe, 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 done. This is the board game equivalent of air hockey.
Clask.
Yeah, it's brilliant. You have your magnet underneath the board, and it's a little wooden table that's lifted up. You have a heavy-duty magnet that you're moving around this little piece, and you're knocking the ball over. There's a little board in between the two halves, so that way you can't go past your half, which is a smart way to do that. Mm-hmm. And there's times where you could pull like ridiculous things if your piece comes off of the magnet because you lift it down. Well, then you have to either reattach it or wait till your opponent is kind enough to send it your way.
Yep.
There's also 3 little like mini pucks that have magnets in it, and if they just don't happen to get attached to yours, that's not great because if you get 2 of them attached to you, then too bad. And you could absolutely use the ball to knock them into your opponents, which is hilarious. The ball bounces surprisingly well. It's all plastic, and there's a small little disc where it's like slightly indented hole that you're trying to knock it into. That's the goal spot.
Yeah, I'm fine with this one. My thing is, I don't like the fact that your hands are underneath. That's my big issue.
Sure. Yeah, I totally understand that. But one of the funniest parts is like when you're moving your hitting piece around and you accidentally go into your goal and you're stuck there. And you see the people like, oh no, and they start shaking it and trying to get it out. Like, that's hilarious. Because it's raised up maybe like, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch. Just enough room to like really mess with people. Clask is so good. This was my number 119 before this. And every time I play it, I just love it again. It's one of my favorite dexterity games of all time. I don't know if it's one of the highest on my list, but I know it's just by that alone, I want to go play it. Just by describing it. So that was my number 57.
I don't believe you. My number 57 is actually, it's funny, I'm going through, writing the list down and looking through it, and I'm like, yeah, no, I don't have to go look these up. These are all new to the list. Yep. A lot of these are new to the list. I have to look up a couple, but this one particularly is relatively new to the list because I think we played this game right before we made the list, the rankings.
Really?
It was literally
it's
one of
already this high up.
Yeah, it was one of your
Cult
picks.
of the New up here. Wait, one of my picks even?
Yeah.
Was it owned by somebody else and I just happened to pick it? Or
No, you're the only one that owns it in our group. But I enjoyed the mess of this game.
So this was a few months ago.
Well, not even. It was like January, a month ago.
And this was my pick.
I think it was like your first pick of the month. And we played this one specifically because it was just the 3 of us. We didn't want to, we didn't want to torture our friend Gamehead Geek.
Okay, so it's trick taking. Wait, what did I play that? Cat in the Box.
Cat in the Box. Honestly, I think this could go higher if I get a copy for myself and play it more. Because my wife's a fan of trick taking. Our other friends are fans of trick taking. We love like Little Devils. We loved playing the Ghost of Christmas.
How does it compare to Ghost of Christmas? Do you think this is better?
I could tell you.
Oh, okay. I mean, I didn't mean to derail you. I just don't know. I don't want spoilers necessarily. I just don't know.
Yes, Ghost of Christmas did not make my list, so I like this one more than... I like Ghost of Christmas and what it does, because you're playing into 3 fields. Mm-hmm. But I just love the way Cat in the Box, you're like, No, I don't. I got a 6 here, and I'm forced to play a 6 here, but I don't want to play in blue because the blue's 6, and I don't want to create a paradox. Right. So I'm gonna have to go offsuit. But now I can't play blue anymore. I love that little brain burner aspect of it, and it makes me laugh. We had a blast doing it because you're just like your brain was hurting.
It's so bizarre, yeah.
But it was once we started really getting into it, it's like, okay, I know kind of what you have in your hand because we've been showing each other kind of how their hands are working. It's like, okay, no. And then you were yelling at me, don't play another 2. Don't play
that 2. When there was already 3 out on the board and I had 2 in my hand, don't you play that 2.
Because you're never going to play 1 card in your hand, but you're always going to be forced to play. Because I think you get, a hand of 6, I think it is, but you're going to play 5 cards out or something like that for a trick. Right. Yeah, I love this game. It was so, so much fun. My number 57, Cat in the Box.
Well, I don't know where it is ranked on mine, but oh well. I'll figure it out another time. Cat in the Box. It is not higher up on my list. I know that. I think, even though I owned it, I think I liked it the least out of all of us.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and it wasn't bad. I mean, it was cool, and I always love games that are off the wall like that, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to stay in my collection. All right, number 56. You ready?
Number 56.
I'll be starting us off again. This is an abstract strategy in its purest form. There is no random one player against another player. This is quite simply, you do one of 2 things on your turn. Either move your pawn 1 space or put down a wall. Do you know which one it is?
Move your pawn 1 space or put down a wall?
Yep.
It's in the GIP series.
Nope. No, not the GIP series. No, this is in the Gigamic Wooden series.
Oh, then no, I don't know.
So it starts with a qua, always.
Corridor?
Corridor, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're basically building a maze, and these walls stand between the spaces. I think it's a 9x9 grid.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but I think it is. You start on one side, your opponent starts on the other, and on your turn, you can either move or place a wall. There's a couple of restrictions on the wall. First, you can put the wall anywhere you want. You each have 10 walls to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
And this can play up to 4 players, but really it's a 2-player game. If you are moving in the direction of your opponent's pawn, you can jump over that pawn. That's fine. If it so happens that there's a wall behind them, you can jump over them and move to either side. So jumping over them helps speed up the movement. However, you are allowed to make any walls and any kind of extra corridors that they have to go through to get to the end. But the rule is you cannot make it impossible for them to get to the end. So the idea is you have to make a longer maze than that they can't, or a longer maze for them than yourself.
Okay.
And oftentimes that means you have to dive headfirst into the same maze and manipulate it in a way where they're not going to have a choice. So you're making this absolute terrible maze for them, and they're trying to prevent you from doing it by maneuvering your walls. Very simple, but oh my goodness, it is so cool. It's a classic one. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was in the movie Mean Girls.
Okay.
Yeah, random fact. And my wife got very upset with me when she was watching it, which is one of her favorite movies, by the way. And there's a scene where she's talking. No, I know. I have to live with it. But she was watching it one day, and I remember I was just sitting there trying not to zone out. And there's a scene where the main girl, or one of the main characters, is talking to Tina Fey's character.
Uh-huh.
And sitting on her desk, I believe, is a copy of Corridor. It's either that or Corridor, one of the two, but I'm pretty sure Corridor. And when I saw that, it's like a quick second, just right there, you see it. I was it cuts to the other scene. I was like, wait, hold on, pause it. And she was like, what? I'm like, no, pause, hold on, go back 10 seconds. And I made her rewind to that point. And I was like, I was right, it was Corridor. And she just gave me that look like, are you serious that you just made me do that? Because I don't know if you've ever tried rewinding 10 seconds in Netflix, but it doesn't like it.
No, it does not.
No, you can't do that little slidey bar for 10 seconds. No. It's not like double tap like YouTube. No. Netflix doesn't like it at all. And so we spent probably 5 minutes trying to get it to pause on that scene so I could see if it was Corridor. And that made that movie just slightly more tolerable for me. So my number 56... Corridor.
All right, so yeah, I've never played this one, but I don't know if I would like it. I don't like abstract strategy games. Mm-hmm. I think I own one. I have 10. No, I own two. I own Goblet and I own Direm.
Right. What makes this different is that a lot of abstract strategies kind of like put pieces in places, trying to get things in a row. And this is very much not that. This is more like an Onitama, like strategically trying to move your piece over.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my number, we're on 56, right?
56.
My number 56, I believe, is not ranked. I'm going to check it right now. But it is a Thunderworks game about building amusement parks.
Oh, by the way, mine was 23. Sorry.
What was that?
Corridor.
Oh, it just moved down?
Yeah.
So this one is 10 Penny Park, and it was not ranked. I do like this game a lot. I like how it's worker placement. But you're also trying to promote your roller coaster rides. You're trying to get the proper polyominoes into place. You got to clear trees from your park, and none of the cardboard pieces can actually interact with each other. They have to actually be placed on diagonals. They can't be placed next to each other. So you're trying to do a little spatial puzzle and trying to make sure you're getting the proper rides, but you're also trying to meet your goal cards, and then you're trying to raise up on like your amusement or your thrill or any. There's like 3 tracks you're trying to raise up on. I adore this game. I need to play it more. I haven't played it in a little bit, but I do love this game. But honestly, I've been enamored with a lot of stuff Thunderworks have been coming out. Not just the Dawn or the World of Ulos games, which is the role player universe. But I do enjoy Cape May. I do enjoy 10 Penny Park. So I do want to try more of their stuff outside of Ulos. I love the Ulos stuff. Yeah. So
this is my favorite.
Thunderworks?
Thunderworks, yeah. It made my list at 445.
445, wow. But mind you,
yeah, but it is my. This is the only one I own too.
Yeah, that is true too.
So,
but yeah, I do really enjoy this one a lot. In fact, I don't even think Cape May made my list.
It didn't make mine either.
Well, yeah, because you don't own it.
It wouldn't have either. Even I don't know why I would own it. No, it was fine.
I like Cape May a lot. It just, I don't think it made my list. Let me see here where it was. So, yeah, I think this is the highest outs. Yeah, Cape May was 179. So, this is the highest non-Ulos Thunderworks game.
Wow, okay. Very cool. All right, number 55.
Now, starting with me. This one's easy. I know this one wasn't on my list before because I've only recently played it, and I've already played the mess out of it. I've played it at all the player counts that you can play this game with. Mind you, there's only 3 player counts you can play this game.
It's a 2-player only game. There's only solitary game.
No, there's 3 player counts you can play with this game.
Okay, 2, 3, 4, probably.
Nope, minimum 3.
3, 4, 5.
This is a simple, straightforward deduction game. I actually showed it to you, and you really enjoyed it.
Yep, okay. I already know what it is.
And this one's Cryptid. Yeah, no, that game is phenomenal. It is. I'm not surprised. Like, when it got into the top 100, I'm like, yeah. Honestly, the only surprise I have is that it didn't get higher. Because I really do enjoy this game. Because everybody has one little clue, and it tells you something like, hey, your clue is like it's within 3 spaces of a certain structure, and then someone else is saying that it can only be on a desert or a grassland or a forest. It's giving all these clues, and you were shocked that it gave enough information for 3 players.
Yeah. And I'm still not certain it can. I'm still not convinced.
It does. Because I've played it 3 players. I've played it 4 players, and I have played it 5 players. And every single time, someone has found the spot. Because there's only one spot in the entire game that it could be. So, because you're basically asking you could do 2 things. You're going to be, hey, could it be here? And I ask you directly, and you tell me yes or no. And then someone else could be asking around, and we're putting information. Because every time I ask a question, I have to give information as well. So when you're telling me no, it can't be in that location, or maybe it can be in that location, then I have to tell you no where it cannot be. So, and then the next person goes, okay, he asked you a certain question, and you said maybe. And then they have to tell you, well, it can't be here. And so people are starting to clue in, especially after playing it multiple times, especially the back of the thing. It tells you what the clues can be. And so you're like, okay, well, we know for a fact you're saying yes along these structures or these predators, and or maybe, and then he's saying no and these spots near those structures. So more than likely, it's got to be in a territory near this structure. And so it can't be desert and it can't be mountain. So maybe it is forest and swamp. All right. Well, let's go over here and do that. And then the last thing, or the other thing you can do is like, I think the creature is here. And then starting with the next player, they say yes or no. Once you get a no, your turn is done. You have to give information out for everybody else.
Okay.
I think it's such a beautiful, beautiful game. In all honesty, if they came up with an expansion for this game, just give me more stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure.
More cards to set up, more cards to... or different little structures to put out there with some new clues. I think it's a phenomenal game as is. It probably is my favorite deduction game.
Yeah, nice. So my number 55 is a dexterity game, kind of. I mean, it's certainly a dexterity game, but that's not just all it is. Normally, most of my dexterity games are just dexterity. No, this has more of a game to it, but it is the main mechanism is dexterity. And this is new to my list. However, I'm not sure if it's new because this remake is new, or if it's new because the predecessor, the original, because this is the remake version of the predecessor. This is by Kane Klenko, I believe.
Dexterity?
Yep. And it is about flipping tokens onto cards.
Oh, I know which one it is. It's not the flip ships. It's Space Invaders.
Yep, Space Invaders, the board game. When I already really liked the idea of the original one, where you're flicking the ships, and that was on my want list for a long time. And then Space Invaders came out and did everything it could, or everything the same, except it gave us a whole board, plus an actual joystick mechanism that launches the tokens, and actually really well, by the way. That's a really well-built token launcher. And then on top of it, it's half the price retail.
So this was 212 for me.
Number 212? Yeah. It's awesome.
It's a good game. I like it a lot.
If you like the arcade game of Space Invaders, you'll probably like this.
Yeah, it really does kind of fit the theme for Space. In fact, when he made Flip Ships, everybody called it Space Invaders, the game without being Space Invaders.
Exactly.
And then he made Space Invaders, and everybody's like, "Oh, that's great."
Yep, they just needed the right publishing company to be able to print it. Yep, Buffalo Games. They did it.
I have one complaint, and relatively because it's cheap. It's the boards. Because mine has that thing where I have to keep pushing it down.
Right. It doesn't fit flat on the table.
Yeah, and for some reason.
But other than that,
it's a great game. I actually own a copy of it. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, absolutely worth it. I suggest buying multiple if you see it in the wild. It's totally worth it. Show your support to Buffalo because it's awesome. They did a great job.
Buffalo has been hitting really well, especially since they got that Target license. Yep. They've been doing a lot of the Phil Walker Harding games, and so it's done really, really well.
So that's my number 55. Nice and simple.
Okay.
Space Invaders. New to my list, technically.
Starting with me again, our number 54. This one was on my list last time, and it has taken a bit of a tumble. It went from 30 to 54. It is still one of my favorite games. It's just we played the mess out of it for the longest time, and it just hasn't hit the table as often. I think that's part of the reason why it tumbled. Plus, a lot of these other games have just been really, really good. And I'm shocked because this designer actually has a game higher on this list. And I thought I liked this segment that I thought I liked this one more.
Well, I mean, you can say you do. You can swap the two.
No, I'm playing it as it lays.
All right, fair
enough.
And
this one is a Phil Walker Harding game.
Praise be, huh?
Yeah.
So your 54 is a Phil Walker Harding game, and you thought you liked this one more. I mean, wow, there's a lot to choose from. Give me a little bit to go off of, because we have like 25 games to choose.
Well, it's a card game.
Okay, not Dungeon Raiders, I don't think. Sushi Go?
Nope.
Just card game? Archaeology?
Yep. Archaeology, really? The New Expedition. Yeah, it tumbled. It dropped 24 spots. And like I said, I just went through Pub Maple, and there is actually a Phil Walker Harding game higher than this game on this current section of the list.
And I think I know which one that is. But we'll find out.
We'll see.
We'll find out.
But yeah, I do enjoy this game. I love the variability of it because you can play different things. And so when you're using your treasure maps, there's different rules that you have to do because you can play the pyramids, or you can play the Sphinx, or the temple or some different variations of it. I really do enjoy this game. I enjoy the mess out of it. But like I said, it's just part of the thing is it hasn't hit that table because we played the mess out of this game. I also like the fact that there's variability for player counts too. So if you're playing with higher player counts, you just add another sets in there because you're just making sets of cards to score your points. The Pharaoh's Mask, much more points. There's only 4 of those in the deck, and if people know you're hunting it, they're gonna just like, you know what? I know he's going for it. I'm just gonna give it straight 4 points from in front of me. I love the thief cards. There's a little bit of a take that aspect. It's just a thief card. You steal 1 card from someone. You're usually going to steal it for someone who has a lot, or you know someone has that Pharaoh Mask, and so you're just going to be like, I'm going to take this card. Ah, man, it's a pot shard. I didn't get the Pharaoh Mask.
Not again.
But
it's always a pot shard.
And there's stuff that goes, you could sell your cards to the market and then collect cards based on the same. So, like, if I sell that Pharaoh's Mask, I can pick up, like, 5 pot shards or 4 pot shards and just play them out because 5 pot shards gives me a certain amount of points, like 10 or 15 points. And you can nickel and dime this game. Just sell pot shards and I think it's like broken tablets and there's one other one, and still have a chance to win the game. I do like the fact that the storm forces everybody to discard cards half rounded down. So if you have 3 cards, you only discard 1.
And you could save through the tent. That's a really meaningful choice, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good choices in this game. We talk about it a lot on this podcast, so I'm not going to go too much more. But yeah, I'm just shocked that it's fallen this far.
Who knew that a Phil Walker Harding would be on your list?
Oh,
who knew?
Who knew? Let's see.
My number 54 is a Phil Walker Harding game. And it's his other Egyptian game.
Imhotep.
Yeah, Imhotep. Yeah, I mean, for all the same reasons, even though it's a very different game, I like how it's kind of like Sushi Go the board game in a way as Imhotep. You're either getting these wooden cubes, which are massive wooden cubes, by the way. They're awesome. Or you're sending them on boats, or you're sailing the ships to unload into the different types, whether it be a tomb, an obelisk, temples, ports, so you can buy and trade cards. I think it's a brilliant game. It adds a lot of that standardized stuff that Phil Walker Harding is known for, like different ways to score points, different efficient ways of doing it, but adding in that ability of when do you take extra cubes, when do you send one of your cubes to a ship, where do you put them in the ship, when you choose to sail a ship, which, by the way, you can sail a ship that has nothing to do with your pieces.
Yeah, you can just screw someone over.
As long as they have enough, and you're like, you know what, I want this to go there. Because each location can only hold 1 ship each. Yep. So, Imhotep, yeah, it has so much great stuff going for it.
If, like, Danny is setting himself up to go over here and, take control of, the temple or something like that, where you have somebody in there, I can be like, no, you're going to go shopping instead.
Yep, exactly. I'm just going to sail your ship, and sail your ship, and sail your ship.
Okay. That doesn't spoil it, but I know it didn't make my list. Neither did Imhotep. I don't even know where it was at. But what about the Duel? Did this make your list, or do you like this one better than Imhotep the Duel?
I think the Duel ranked lower, if I'm not mistaken. I do very much like Imhotep the Duel, but I do believe it ranked lower than this.
Yeah, so Imhotep for me was 187.
Yeah. I don't know where mine was.
And Imhotep the Duel was 239. So I like this one a whole lot more than Imhotep the Duel. No, don't get me wrong. Imhotep the Duel's fine. But yeah, this one is a much better...
This did drop 3 places from 51 last time.
That's not too bad, though. No. Especially since you had to do like 800 and some games. Yep. Only a 3-point drop is not bad. It
stood true.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right, moving to our number 53.
53.
Starting with you?
Starting with me. My 53 is a 2-player game, part of the Cosmos 2-player line. I really, really love this game. It's not the one you hate. It dropped from number 34.
Which one?
It's not the one you hate, but it's from the Cosmos 2-player line.
Targi?
No.
Then I don't know what the one I hate is.
This one has a bunch of islands on it. It's an archipelago where you're building bridges.
Kahuna?
Kahuna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't like this one.
Yeah, I know you don't like it. You don't like a lot of the Cosmos 2-player line.
No.
You like Targi.
I like Targi, and then what is the other one? Isn't the Stefan Feld one 2-player?
I think, yeah.
For Cosmo? Yeah, the Pillars of the Earth one? I like that one a lot, too.
Yeah. Well, it's because of Stefan Feld, of course.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
I think you would like Asante, the new one.
That's what I heard.
That I got, yeah. But no, this one, Kahuna, the idea of what you're doing is you're getting a card that has an island on it. Each of these 12 islands have a number of bridges branching off from them into other islands on the board. When you play a card, you're going to be playing a bridge from your island that you play it. So let's say I put it on Fa, which is Faaa. I could put it on that island, put a bridge branching from that one to any others. As soon as I have a majority of the bridges, so like let's say if there was 4 branches away from it, and I have 3 or more of those bridges built, then I gain control of that island.
Okay.
However, when I gain control of the island, immediately all of my opponent's bridges break from that island, which may cause cascading of losing control of other islands because every island or every bridge needs 2 islands to connect to. I could also play 2 cards potentially to destroy a bridge from another player as well to help prevent those majorities.
Okay.
It plays over 3 rounds, and what makes it really interesting is that the first round, whoever has the most islands controlled, 1 point. Second round, 2 points. Third round, the final round, it's not 3 as you would assume. It is the player who has the most islands scores the number of points equal to how many more islands they control.
Yeah.
So that means that if I play poorly, or I guess strategically at the first 2 rounds, and you win it, you have 3 points. I have a long way to go to get 4 or more, but it is definitely doable if I get really great that last round.
Yeah.
And it gives players that little thing, because if you're doing that good already, then you've probably expended a lot of your resources. And it's a really smart game. Great little components. All you just have is sticks of different colors, little tick marks or little circle discs that have little handprints on them, and a board and some cards, and that's all it needs. It works really well. I like it a lot. That's Kahuna. My number 53.
My number 53 is a new game to the list, and it's another one that's recently been played. I knew this was going to make my top 100 after we played it because I was very enamored with this game, and I lost this game. And this one is a worker placement game. Okay. But it's an old worker placement game.
It's fun to lose, huh?
2012 is the year.
2012. Oh, yes. Was this with years?
Yeah.
Zolkin.
Is Zolkin, the Mayan calendar. I really, really enjoyed that play into the fact that I wanted to get to the table again just because it was that fun. I love the you have 2 jobs. You can put a worker out or you can pull up workers. That's it. That's your entire turn. You're going through, what is it, like a full year or something like that, like 12 turns of the gears. And every turn, when your workers are out there, it increases their abilities. Yeah. Gives you more powerful to take them away from. I like the fact that you got to pay corn if you want to put 2 workers on the board. It's like, okay, I'm going to put this worker here, and then I want to put this worker here, but I got to pay the corn cost for the extra worker plus the corn cost for where that worker is going. So if it's going into a third slot, it's like +2. So you got to make sure you have all your corn, and then when you get to a certain point, you got to make sure you have enough corn because you got to feed your people, or else you anger the gods. Right. And I just love all the stuff that's going in there because you're playing. Who's going higher on the gods track, or who's playing trying to get to the crystal skull so they can play on the other thing to get just points straight up. Yeah. Or trying to get resources, but there's only so much there, and if you burn down a forest, you're going to anger the gods just to go for the corn there. Well, you know what? Let me just collect the wood here, and then hopefully soon I can start putting take some corn resources and stuff like that. Or, you know what, let's push this over here. This way, when I do take corn, I can take extra corn. Right. Or if I take a resource, I can take an extra resource of this type or stuff like that. There's so much going on. This is probably my favorite tea game. In fact, I think so, because I think Teotihuacan was in 900s.
I would say it's mine, too.
90s?
Yeah, I probably like this one. And I had just played it like 7 or 8 years ago for the first time.
Yeah, and Teotihuacan was 62. So, this one moved way ahead of Teotihuacan in the 53. So, not way ahead, but I've had Teotihuacan a lot longer than Zolkin. I just recently played Zolkin, and honestly, because of that worker placement, it might climb more if I play it more.
Very cool. Awesome. Number 52.
To me. You okay? So this is another new one to the list. And speaking of worker placements, I don't know if you've played this one though.
I haven't.
This one is cutesy animals preparing for winter, and you have different. Oh no, I think you did play this one because you're beholden to dice rolls in a sense, but you're it's a worker placement where you have to have certain numbered dice, but there's always some that everybody share, and then you have your own personal dice. And so you know what the everybody shared dice is, but you don't know what you have rolled yet. So you're putting your workers out there, hoping you roll good on your dice rolls. This way, because I can use this 4 and this 2 over here, and then I can collect this resources there. This one is Creature Comforts.
Nope, I have not played this one.
Yeah, I have not played this one. Okay.
I'm not saying none of that was making any sense. Sounds like Everdell with random.
In a sense, it's worker placement. So what happens is everybody on the... Whoever's the first player for that round, they roll 2 white dice, and then they put it on the hill. The white dice, everybody has to use those pips. So say someone rolls a 4 and a 3.
Okay.
Well, you can use the 3 to go to this location, or the 4 to go to this location, and then you roll your dice, and you roll a 6, a 5, and a 1, or something like that. I don't remember exactly how many dice there are. And then you can use those dice for different locations. But before you roll your dice, you have to roll or place your workers out there in turn order. So, say Dom rolls the white dice. We know it's a 4 and a 3. And then, starting with him, he places his worker out there because he knows there's a 4 there, so he can place his worker there. And then I'm like, okay, I know I can use the 3 here and the 4 here. And sometimes they're closed off, sometimes they're not. It just depends on the location.
Sure.
It's really, really good. And all you're trying to do is your creatures trying to have a comfortable life going into winter because we got to go to hibernation. It's going to be super cold.
Sure.
And so it's like Everdell when it comes to like there's an inn, there's like different resources, there's gardens and stuff like that. But I do have to get you to play this one. I think you might actually like it because you're going into the worker placement spots and you're hoping you roll at least good because it's some of them needs like you got to do 4 or under or you have to have unequal numbered dice and stuff like that. So they have different ways you have to use these dice, and you only have like 3 or 4 workers that you're putting out anyways.
Okay.
And so, and even then, if you don't succeed, you don't go home with nothing. Because if it's called lessons learned, and you get something that can modify dice, it adds a +1 or -1 to the die. So,
okay, cool.
So it's fun. It's a really good game. It's really cute. In fact, I backed the Kickstarter for its successor, Maple Valley. So we'll see what happens with that one. But yeah, I do enjoy Creature Comforts. It's like right behind your shoulder too.
Oh, really? Cool. Yeah. No, it sounds fun.
No, it's a good game. I like it a lot.
My number 52 is probably one, if not the most played game, one of the most played games I have. It dropped from number 36 earlier on my list, and just because I don't know why it dropped.
It happens like that.
It just happened. But there's a really great app for this, and it plays in about 10 minutes.
Oh, Onitama?
No.
No.
Onitama?
Oh, sorry.
Onirim. Yes. From Impatience Games. Absolutely brilliant design. I've played it so much. I think that's the only reason it dropped a little bit. And there's a lot of good games that just jumped ahead, just that are newer and fresher. But no, I still come back to this all the time. I love the expansions that they included. The only argument I have about any of Onitama. Now you got me saying it. Any part of Onirim. The only part that I complain about it has nothing to do with the game design. It's the people who developed the app stopped after the 3rd module. Yeah. And there's 7 in the game. Huh, I wish they added more.
I didn't even rank it, but it might be because I've played the app so much and I don't log app plays.
I do most of the time.
I don't log app plays at all. Or else Ascension would be my most played game of all time.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. This is probably my second most played game of all time. Probably. And I say second because I played Magic throughout most of my life. So,
yeah.
But second to that.
It didn't even make my list because I guess because it's not logged on my
right
BGG. So
one of my favorite solo games of all time. Onirim, phenomenal.
It's a solid. If it was actually logged and I have played it, in my system, it probably would have been in my top 100 as well because it's a phenomenal.
So it's counted as a crossover. No, we don't know that.
Nope, it's not.
Nope, doesn't count. All right, number 51.
Number 51 to you.
All right.
This flip has been nice lately.
It has. It's been very fair. This is a brand new game to me. I've owned 3 of the games in the series, and this is new as of this year or maybe last year. after I played it once, it became my favorite in the series. There's 3 of them. They're not. It's not a trilogy of games. They're just all based on the same system. And this is probably my highest ranked Antoine Bauza game.
Yeah, the only one I could think... Oh, it's Seven Wonders Architect.
That's right. Seven Wonders Architect. That's so good. It took already a decent game. And I say decent, I don't tend to like Seven Wonders that much.
Yeah, Seven Wonders is not... it's fine. It's like, if other people want to play it. I just think it's too convoluted for what it does.
It 100% is. And see, here's the thing. I remember back in my day when everyone was like, oh, Seven Wonders is the best of the best. And I already didn't like it that much back then. Like, I tolerated it. It was fine. But when Seven Wonders came out, Seven Wonders Duel, I was like, no, this is already way better. And even then, it's probably not enough to meet my top 100. But this one, when this came out,
this one's...
I appreciate an elegant design above everything else. If you have something streamlined, succinct, and functionally really good, this is almost like if Phil Walker Harding designed a Seven Wonders game.
Yeah.
That's how I figure this is. Because it's so smart, it's so elegant. If you like Phil Walker Harding games, I wouldn't suggest Seven Wonders, the original Seven Wonders Duel, but I would suggest this one.
Yeah, no, this one's a good one. And I'm trying to see why I can't find it on my list. I thought I already said it. No, it's 116.
116. Yep, just barely. That's my number 51. Seven Wonders Architects. Phenomenal game. Great components, too.
Oh, yeah. It's so easy to set up, too.
Yep.
It's just like you pick your wonder.
Mm-hmm.
You have your cards. You shuffle your cards. You put them to your left.
Yep.
And someone shuffles the stuff in the middle.
Exactly. Easy. Doesn't get easier than that.
Yeah, so what was that number?
51.
51. 51 is a game that I've had for a while. Was on my list last time, and this is actually a climb. It originally was number 67.
Ooh, okay, not too much, but
yeah.
It's good that it stood the test of time.
I mean, there's 44 games that dropped out and 44 that came in, so... this one is probably... I have to check my thing, but I think this is probably my favorite Bruno Cathala game.
Ooh.
Can you take a guess what it's going to be?
Favorite Bruno Cathala. I mean, that doesn't limit it down too much because he's made a lot.
He does. It's pretty much a card game that's big.
Abyss?
Yep. Abyss is my number...
Card game but big. I can't believe I figured it out with that clue.
Huh?
With that clue, I can't believe I figured it out. It's a card game but big.
In all honesty, it is a card game because there's 3 parts that you're basically...
No, you're 100% right. That's the vaguest clue. How would I ever figure that out? But yet I know.
Because Bruno Cathala doesn't really do card games. Just messing with you. Honestly...
I was not saying Bruno Faiduti doesn't do card games.
Yeah, Bruno Faiduti does too many
I was saying Richard Garfield doesn't do card games.
That's all Richard Garfield did in the early... all the CCGs in the early 90s and aughts, Richard Garfield.
Yep.
But yeah, no, this is probably my favorite. I was trying to look at my list. I don't think there is one higher than this. I will correct myself if I do see it, but it's real simple. It's one of his older games is, 2015, something like that?
Yeah.
You're basically, there's a little pusher-like aspect. You're flipping cards over, and then everybody can auction off on it. If someone takes it, they pay you the pearl directly. Then you flip another card. And you keep doing that until someone says, you know what, no, and then you take that card specifically, and all the other cards go into face-down pile. Mm-hmm. And then, or instead of doing the push your luck aspect of it, because there's going to be some things you got to fight and stuff like that, so you can choose to fight or not, and you can keep pushing your luck. The creatures that don't get picked, they go to face down at the bottom, because they all have a strength card and they all have a class that they go to. They go into those specific piles, and so sometimes you're just waiting. Okay, there's like 4 cards in there, and I know there's a 3 in there. Let me go just grab that. Because you're using these cards to buy yourself a leader. And getting leaders out there can help you do special powers or get you some keys that you need, because you need 3, I think it's 3 locations for you to win the game. Keys unlock locations for you.
Gotcha.
Once you get enough keys, which is I think 3 keys, You have to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to take a location and you flip one or a couple and you look at them and you're like, okay, I want this one instead. And you do that, pay your 3 keys. They give you a special power. But because your leaders have keys on them, basically when you use them, they lock that power. So it's kind of like, how do I do this properly? Because this guy has a really cool power, but I don't want to lose his key. But yeah, no, I really adore this game. In fact, I think it's one of my picks for tomorrow. After Freedom, if we have time, I'll probably play that one.
I am looking very much forward to Freedom. Freedom.
So,
Freedom.
by number 51, Abyss, climbing from 67. And that's significant.
That is very significant. All right, number 50.
You say you're 51?
I did. That was Seven Wonders Architects.
It's Architects, yep. Who's starting this one?
You.
So my number 50 is another one that's new to the list. Surprise, surprise. This one is really, for me, the Seven Wonders killer. Not Seven Wonders Architect, but when it comes to a drafting game, this is the Seven Wonders killer for me.
Yeah, every drafting game. Right.
No, but this one specifically, because I loved this one so much, I went out and bought myself a copy. This is a Damn It Dom game. That in one of our memes. It's right behind your head.
I know what it is. Yes, It's a Wonderful World.
It's a Wonderful World. It is a great, great drafting game. It plays pretty quickly. It's not as quick as, say, Seven Wonders, but I love what it's doing. You have like
this did Seven Wonders correctly.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to be reliant on you guys. I don't need to buy resources for you guys for me to get my stuff. I got this, I got this, I got this. Okay, now I can get this. Boom, boom, boom. It combos very well. If I draft this card and do this, well, I don't want to spend for this card, so I'll just use this to give me resources instead. I loved everything about this game. It is a phenomenal, phenomenal game. I do want to try the 2-player version of it. It's a Wonderful Kingdom.
Yeah.
Just because I want to see how it does. Seven Wonders Duel did a heck of a job for 2-player drafting games. I want to see what It's a Wonderful Kingdom does different for that aspect of it. But yeah, no, this one is by far probably one of my favorite drafting games. It's not my favorite because I know there's another one that's coming up.
Right.
But it did it so well. Pure drafting, this is great.
Yeah, and what this does so cool, one of my favorite parts about it, is that when you are able to play certain cards, that might trigger benefits later in the round, and you have to account for that.
Yeah.
That's the cool part.
Yep.
It's like, now I have enough to build this, which will now get me this benefit. Yeah. That was fun.
It's a really, really smart game. Yep. Really, really smart. I love this game a lot. In fact, like I said, I had to go buy myself a copy of it.
Right. So my number 50, I can't believe we're already halfway. My number 50 is another game that's all about those crazy combos. And it's not so much drafting because you have to spend your resources to do it. There's 4 different resources and they're all just different colors of the same resource. Mm-hmm. This is another Phil Walker Harding.
Gizmos?
Gizmos. Yep. Combo-tastic. Is this our number 6? I don't remember.
Let me check.
Yeah.
Go ahead and talk about it.
Gizmos, the way Gizmos works is very simple. You have a little device that you are going to be taking marbles from. When you take certain marbles, you can spend it to buy gizmos. These gizmos will give you abilities to either get other marbles, get random ones, combo again, and it starts off being very simple, where you're just getting a marble, that's it, your turn's done, maybe get another marble, but then eventually you start getting turns where like, alright, well I'll pick this black marble so I can also get a blue one, or I'm going to pick up this yellow one so I can get a random marble. And now that I can build a blue one, I get to take another marble, which will let me do another build. And it starts comboing and comboing and comboing from there to the point where it always ends right before you're about to hit that epic, like, I take 5 minutes for my turn kind of combo where everything just triggers everything else.
Yeah.
No, this, you quite literally, like, it will end so short. It will almost be unsatisfying, but it keeps it from getting out of hand too much, which I appreciate.
Like I said, when I talked about it, it was my 67, I believe. So it's not really great at a 2-player.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I love this.
I mean, I think it's fine at a 2-player, but I get why you don't.
It just doesn't cycle well enough. But everything else about this game is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I really love playing it at 3 and 4 because I played it 4 players with my wife and our friends. And it goes down really well because it's just like bing, bing, boom. And my turn is done now.
That's right.
4 hours later.
This also dropped a little bit from 42.
Yeah, so not too bad.
All right, number 49.
Yeah.
I'll start us off. This one climbed a little bit from 69 last time.
Nice.
And that's because every time I've played it, I forget how fun it actually is. And then I play it again, I'm like, man, this is still really good.
Yeah.
And every time I play it, it kind of frustrates me because it shouldn't be as good as it is. Because this game is over 3,000 years old. Senate. This is the oldest known board game to exist. This was before dice were invented. You roll sticks. It's the ancient Egyptian game, King Tut's game, whatever we want to call it. But they made the rules where if you're familiar with stuff like backgammon or Parcheesi and stuff, those are fine. It plays like that. But what sets Senate apart from all of the others is the fact that you and your opponent are right there, right in each other's business the entire game. Mm-hmm. And as the whole goal is to get all 5 of your pieces off the board, or 7 if you're playing with the full version. And the first one to do that wins. But every piece you get off, that's one fewer piece you have an option of moving. So if I'm doing this, I'm moving this piece, well, okay, I'm stuck. Now I might have to jump in the river, which will jump me halfway back on the board, which is awful. But I put myself in that predicament where I couldn't do another move. Mm-hmm. And when 2 or more of similar pieces are next to each other, they block, so they're safe. So it's similar to like stacking and backgammon. It's absolutely smart how it works. I love how it works. It sounds, every time you roll a 1, a 4, or a 5 with the 4 sticks, you get a bonus turn after that, which sounds completely broken. And it does, right? And I haven't figured out why it doesn't get broken, but every time I've played this, it has been an absolute nail biter.
Well, I think the big part of it, why it is, because it's the colored side is the numbers, right? Basically, if you roll the light side...
No, it's the white side.
Well, basically, it's the white side.
Yes.
Because the black side is where it's rolled.
Yeah, and it's curved, yeah. So it's like a half,
that's why it's a
half cylinder, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, the number of blank sides, which are like the flat side, the number of those that stick up, that's 1 for each of those, unless they're all 4 down, and then it's a 5. Mm-hmm. So you never roll a 0. Unless you just can't move your pieces.
That's what I'm saying, is that why you get that extra turn, because of the fact that it's curved.
Oh, yeah. No, it's very unlikely. I get that. But, like, you would think that if you... In any other game of a board that only has 30 spaces, if you roll a 4, then a 5, and then another 5, that's half of the board right there. You would think that you just won immediately. That happens in this game often, and it doesn't mean you're going to win.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about this. Every time I play it, it's just a nail biter. Right down to the end, it's always neck and neck. It always goes over well. I haven't met anybody who genuinely disliked it. I know some people, like, have you played this one?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah,
it's not my favorite of the old style games. I like Senate, it's fine. The only other ones I played is like chess, and then...
yeah, I'll take this over chess any day.
Parcheesi. I like Parcheesi a lot.
Parcheesi's cool. But the fact that you start on other side of the boards, that's the thing. Yeah. Backgammon, once you cross each other, it's boring. Yeah. Like, the doubling die is the only thing that's worth it or not.
I've only played backgammon once in my entire life, and I really don't want to again.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. Like, it takes a lot of those same things.
Yeah.
And Parcheesi takes the same thing, except since you're on opposite sides of the board, yeah, you're going in the same direction, and you're overlapping each other, but you start off so far away. No, you're also, right up in each other's business.
I also like my copy of Parcheesi because it's little elephants.
Which is pretty awesome. Yeah. But I love it. Senate doesn't get much better.
All right, so my number 49. In fact, I'm doing a run of Damn It Dome games right now. So
that's this theme today.
Yeah, It's a Wonderful World. That was the first one.
Yep.
This one is another one that I liked it so much I had to pre-order a copy of it because I really, really enjoy it. Okay. It is a polynomial game, but it has such a beautiful, beautiful aspect to the game where you make a decision forcing other players to use pieces they might not want to use. Mm-hmm. It's Planet Unknown.
Yep.
It is a phenomenal game.
Really was good.
It's so good that both you and me were like, huh. And he's like rotating. It's like, okay, that's kind of cool. You suck. Why did you give me that piece? I don't need that piece because I need to do this where I can move these things, and these don't have the types that I need for I can move up on this track over here.
Yep.
I love the asymmetric play because you don't have to play asymmetry because you can just play the basic stuff, and that's fine. But I love the fact that my company did something totally different than your company. My planet had certain specific rules that your planet had a whole different type of rule. It was so much fun. I really do enjoy this one. I've played it a couple times since then, and every time I showed it, it's gone down well with people. So I love this game, and it has probably one of my favorite components that I want to see more in games with the Lazy Susan.
Right. Yeah, no, that works so well.
It's really and what I like about it is like, well, I'm gonna take this one, and you're looking at me like, dude, come on.
No.
Really? Or, you know what? I like where I'm at, so I'm gonna leave it there. No, I needed you to move it because now it's in game because I can't place a piece.
Yep.
I love it. So good. Planet Unknown.
Cool. Good choice. All right, on to our number. What
48.
number is this? 48. Wow. Who thought that we'd be this far already?
Yep. Starting with me, and this is the third straight Damn It Dom game. And this one, there's a reason why it's pretty high for relatively new. It's quick, it's simple, and it's very, very fun. It has a lot of variability based on the cards, and it's what makes it so simple is you're doing one thing. You're drafting a tile, and you're drafting an animal.
Yep. Cascadia.
Yeah, and it's funny because we played another version of it where it was more complicated with plants and stuff like that. I can't remember. Verdant. And I was just like, yeah, that's fine, okay. But man,
did you ever play the cat one?
No, Calico? I haven't played Calico.
I don't think you would like it as much as the others either.
Yeah, because Cascadia is so good. It's real simple. And you just turn in a piece if you're like, okay, it's like a leaf or an acorn or something like that. And you can turn that on and be like, I'm going to take this tile and take that animal over there. It's really simple. And you're trying to score your animals in a certain way. So, like, bears need to be in a certain grouping, surrounded by other animals. Your falcons need to have line of sight of each other. Mm-hmm. And they just play differently. You need to get a nice little salmon run going, and they need to be surrounded by other things, or just your longest salmon run is what it's going to score. If it's like 5 straight salmons, but they're not in a straight line, they have to be kind of off-kiltered. And the variability of this game is so much fun. And it's really well produced for as inexpensive as it is. It's like $30, $40, something like that. It's not super expensive. I think flat out knocked it out of the park with this game. It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it really is. This is one of the only games I ever bought before the Spiel des Jahres, knowing that it was going to win. Because I didn't know it was going to win, but I was like, I would be very surprised if it didn't win.
You were really hoping, though. You're like, yeah, because you put all your money in the bag. You bought it. Like, this is going to be the Spiel winner, but then you're like, please?
Pretty sure. Now, granted, I also hadn't played the other two yet.
But you just by the research. One of the other ones.
Scout I adore now.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think I might like Scout more, but I think Cascadia is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah. So good.
Yeah. All right, so my number 48 was a game that, honestly, it should be higher. But there's one very reason why it is lower. It used to be my number 35. Now it's 48. And it's dropped because I haven't played it even since the last list. It's a game you taught me.
Well, that narrows it down.
And I guarantee it's going to be a crossover.
Okay. That doesn't...
It has a 22-pound box.
22? Gloomhaven?
Gloomhaven.
Huh. I didn't even know you had this up that
48.
Nice.
I like Gloomhaven a lot. I've played it 3 times.
Nice. I don't blame you.
That's all I can say about it. Like, it's frustrating because when I got it before the lockdown, and my in-laws bought it for me as a birthday gift.
Yep.
Which is, I mean, that's phenomenal that they
Wait, which is even funny because you don't really celebrate your birthday.
No, I don't. And the fact that they got me this game that I was so excited to play. And you taught me, and you came over that day, and I was like, man, this is so good. I can't wait to get into this. And then my son, like, he finally got old enough to play it, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to ease him in. Let's get Jaws of the Lion. We played it 3 times, so 4 times total. Mm-hmm. And that was it. He didn't want to play it after that. So now I have permanently lost my my buddy on playing it.
Well, I mean, if we can find time, I'll play it with you. I love the game, so...
Fair enough. Anyway, no, it's a great game, but you're going to talk about it way more later on. Spoilers, sorry. I'm just guessing, but Gloomhaven's my number 48. Awesome game.
Wait, that was our 48? Oh, yeah, because I started, right?
That's right. So our number 47.
Back to me.
Yep.
All right, my number 47 is a game I adore. But it's fallen because I just haven't played it that much, and there's another game kind of like this that I just play more because it's a little bit simpler.
Okay.
It's actually in the top 100, and you want me to teach you this game.
Ooh, okay. I mean, there's quite a few.
And so this is
one of my
a card
37.
game. It was originally 33.
Oh.
It has dropped to 47.
It's a card game. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Arkham Horror.
Arkham Horror LCG, or the card game. It's a good game. It's a great game. Especially now, it's so much easier to get into because what they're doing is they're releasing player packs and then they're releasing the story packs.
How long does an average game of it play?
Probably if it's your first play, it's probably going to be about an hour.
Yeah.
If you're used to how it works, it just depends. The first scenario stuff, 45 minutes to an hour, if not a little quicker once you get used to it. But because the reason why this one is a lot harder than, say, Marvel Champions is because you're investigating. You're going to different locations, and they're tied to a certain way. So, like, if I go here, but I got to go here. And then the Mythos phase happen, and the bad guys start popping up based on card pulls and stuff like that. Whereas in Marvel Champions, I do this, boom, 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 bad stuff, and then it goes to someone else's turn. Whereas Arkham Horror is like this, then this happens, and then we can restart again. This happens, but just all those steps take a little bit longer than Marvel's Champions, where it's like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to punch that guy, and I'm done.
Yeah.
And
kaboom.
And
yet somehow the turns still seem way too long.
They don't seem that long, but I do really, really enjoy Arkham Horror as a solo game.
Yeah.
The most I'll ever play this game is with two people. And honestly, that's how I prefer Marvel Champions as well, and we'll talk about that maybe later. But just
not on my list, you won't.
But
Spoilers.
But the fact is, these living card games, the more players you add to them, the longer they get. So, like, Arkham Horror, great solo game. Even
it's
a
like an hour
two-headed,
per player, almost.
in a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
So I pretty much enjoy playing it solo. I have played it 2 players, and I like it at 2 players. It's fine. But I would not play it with 3 or 4 players because at 2 players, it'll take about an hour to play a scenario.
Yeah.
Basically 30 minutes per player. So, we'll see. I have to reread the rules. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But I do really enjoy this game. Like I said, it dropped because it hasn't been played. For a while there, I was stuck because I couldn't get... it took me forever just to finish the Dunwich Legacy, just get all the stuff for it. Now that... And then I was like, well, now I'm stuck because the Path of Carcosa is, not out there. They just reset it where... You buy this pack, and you get characters. If you buy this pack, you just get the stories, and you can use your old characters.
Makes sense.
So, I love this game. It's a great game. I just need to play it more.
I definitely need to try this, because it's on my list. 47, right? Mm-hmm. 47 is technically new to my list. And now, I don't know why it wasn't on the original list.
Oh.
And I think it's because it is part of a series of games.
Maybe you didn't own it then?
No, I'm certain I did. Because I used to show it off a lot. And I think what I did is I combined the series into one and just said, this is the quintessential.
This is the one, yeah.
But this is the third in the series of 4. 3 of which we all really like. One of which we loathe.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I know which one. Is this your favorite of the 3? Or...
I don't think so.
Okay, so, wait. 4? They just announced the 4th one, right?
No, then this is something different than you.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you a hint. Very pretty tiles. Uh-huh. They look like Starburst.
Oh, it's a Zool.
I am curious to try to figure out what you were thinking of, but either way. This is a Zool Summer Pavilion. The third in there. They use rhombuses. It still has that satisfying comboing. I just don't like the board layout nearly as much as I like the other one.
That's funny because the reason why I was thinking it, they just announced the 4th game of another series, what I was thinking about. And I think, other than our mutual friend Dom, most people disliked the 3rd one of that series. It's the Forbidden series.
Oh, I thought the third one was okay.
I hated the third one.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. But you're right, they just announced the fourth. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about. I was like, wait.
Yeah, until I said we hated the fourth one.
Yeah.
Queen's Garden, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it was trash.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it was unpleasant. Very unpleasant. I hope they make a fifth one and then we can just forget about it.
Well, it's funny because, again, talking about it, our mutual friend Dom, he's like the only one that's like, it's fine. And everybody else is just like, well, no. Our mutual friend Bryce enjoys it too.
That's fine. They can.
Yeah, not a fan of it.
No, you and I had a terrible experience playing it, and that soured it even more for us.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah,
it was bad. But this one, Summer Pavilion, is a great one.
Yeah, Summer Pavilion is awesome. I highly recommend it. If you like either of the first two, especially if you like both of them, get the third one too. You'll like it. It's a great addition to the series. It doesn't work quite the exact same way. It does work differently because you're building like little star patterns, flower patterns on there. They cost different amounts, kind of like the different rows in the first Azul.
Yeah.
But so they'll cost anywhere from 1 to 6 tiles, and the way you place them is like, let's say I want to place one of the red tiles down, then I have to discard a total of 6 to place it in the 6th spot. But it's also potentially going to block off certain areas. It'll cause bonus points later on. I might surround different statues, which lets me draw bonus tiles which will let me continue to play.
Yep.
And unlike previous Azuls, this is the first one where you can save tiles between turns. And so you have 4 little spots. You can save them from one round to another. And this was also the first one where you draft all of the tiles first, and then you start placing. So, which is unlike the other ones before. So it does enough different, and it was refreshing, but it functionally worked really well.
Yeah.
As opposed to the fourth one, which took new stuff and made it bad.
So what I did for me, because it was a series of games.
Yes.
So I understand why you rank them differently.
Yeah.
Because they play
I feel like this is definitely different enough.
For me, I took the other 2 out and picked the one I liked the most.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm not even considering the fourth one, because that one was just trash.
Yeah.
And it was just because out of those 4, which one would I want to play? Yeah. And so that's why I was like, okay, this is gone, I don't want to rank this, and this is gone, I don't want to rank
this. That's also why you didn't rank 850 games, too.
Yeah, I was smart. I took my favorite of a series and left it.
Yep.
Because it's just better that way, except for, like, Blood Rage and
that's what I think what happened on this one.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like that's probably what happened, because I did own it before.
So for me, it was 175.
Ooh, wow, kind of low.
Out of 400 games? No, it's not. It's in the top half.
Yeah.
Or 500. True. I was almost 500.
I can do that one.
So, to me or to you?
This is number 46. Have you done 47 yet?
Yes, we're going to 46.
46. Let's find out. Well, for me, 46 was number 71 last time, so it did climb up. And I think I haven't played it since then either. It's just, I kept reminding myself on how much I enjoyed it. This is another speed game. I think it's Kane Klenko. I'm not mistaken. I'm looking
probably
in case you have it. Yeah, it's a speed game, and you are going to be everyone's speed rolling dice in 1 minute to try and heal as many people as you can. This is Flatline.
Okay, yeah, it was like
the sequel to
Fuse.
Fuse, yeah. And basically, when you lose Fuse, because that's a really difficult game, then you instead go play Flatline, and you're trying to help the people that you just horribly disfigured.
The big thing about it, too, is that you were saying that you have 1 minute to roll to heal people. You do have a little bit of time before you start doing all that. Just to
you can make your plans accordingly.
Yeah.
But those 1 minute rounds are just absolute insanity. They're super fun. I like it a lot. I don't want to say too much about it.
This is your second Kane Klenko.
Yes.
On this particular part of the list.
Yes. So this is my Kane Klenko list. Or I guess it's, I consider speed dexterity. I think it's one and the same. It's a dexterity thing. So this is really my dexterity list.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, there's been a lot of those. But either way, Kane Klenko. Eventually I will get a hold of you and you will need to come on the podcast. I'll find out one way or another.
All right, so my number 46 is a new one to the list, and this is a phenomenal game. You love this game. And
I do.
This is another Damn It Dom game.
Ooh, let's see if it's on my list.
It has a very, very pretty cover, but it's ugly as sin. Tech Tree, the board game.
Oh, yes. Beyond the Sun.
Beyond the Sun.
Yes.
It's a phenomenal game.
I did like this one.
Yeah, it's a nice little worker placement that has like these little dice manipulations in a sense, and you can use them however you want. So you're building this tech tree in a sense, and seeing how it goes, and getting your points and scoring. It's shouldn't be as good as it is because it's just like really, I'm just gonna do this and this and and then I get points for that. But man, it was so much fun that I had to go and buy myself a copy. I really, really enjoyed this game. Mind you, it is going to take a little bit. It is a longer game. But it's so much fun. I do want to get the expansion. The cover is amazing. And then you open the box and be like, those are nice dice, but that's that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a phenomenal game. I implore you guys to try it at least once because you will probably be enamored with it because it is fun. It's the big thing about it is like, oh, and I could do this and I could do this and I could combo this and do this. And it's basically you're just building a tech tree out there.
That's cool.
So yeah, my number 46 is Beyond the Sun.
All right, off to our number 45s.
45 is Your Fault. Another one that is new to the list. And relatively new. This is a draft and write, but no writing is involved.
What? A draft and write, but no writing?
Yeah.
Are you drunk?
Nope.
What are you talking?
Ganshan Knizia.
Wow, really?
I love this game. It was so much fun.
Really?
I want to pick up myself a copy. I just can't right now because I'm getting ready to go on a trip and I need to save up.
I genuinely am surprised by that. I did not think a Knizia would ever hit your top 100. Ever.
I own one Knizia game. And it's not even in my top 100. Yes. But
wow,
this was really well done. It's really smart. It's very fast paced. Everybody's getting points. Yes. The combos are just amazing in this game. It forces people to hate draft, and you screw a friend over by like, nope, you're before him, so you got to hate draft this thing.
I knew you liked this, but wow.
Because it was so much fun. And the big thing about my top 100 this year really is about fun for me. Mm-hmm. This one, the laughs, the joking, everything that we've did with this game was like the comboing and the little like, I'm going to do this and then I can score this points and this points and this points and make 35 points and then stuff like that. Just like, that is gross, man. It was so much fun. To the point, like I said, I want to go pick up myself a copy.
Yep.
I just haven't been able to because in 2 weeks I'll be in California.
Oh, darn. Oh, darn. Well, we sell it on shop, so...
I know. I almost went and bought it the other week, and I was like, no, I have the Kickstarter that we're in right now. Yeah. But yeah, Mille Fiori. I don't even think I actually said the name. Mille Fiori.
Said Ganshan Knizia.
Yeah.
All right, my number 45, right? 45 was number 94.
Man, that's a nice climb.
And I've had this. This is one of my oldest games in my collection, and it was definitely the first Cthulhu themed.
Oh, it's Elder Sign.
Elder Sign. Yeah, Elder Sign. It just, again, it's one of those things I haven't even played it since then. I just remembered how much I enjoyed it, just like Flatline. It's like, man, I need to go back to my old stuff, back before I was playing all these complex Euro games and heavy strategy, and just, I just want to kill things with dice for a little bit. And that definitely does that. It uses a mechanism that I like from another game called Age of War, which Rainer Knizia made. And that dice mechanism where you always use dice or you discard dice. So either way, it's awesome. And you had Elder Sign on yours?
Yeah, nice. It was 92.
92. That is number 7?
Yep, that's our 7th crossover.
All right, so I think I'm going to win at this pace. Now, Elder Sign, everything you said about it, I completely agree. I love it. Elder Sign, awesome stuff.
Yeah, it's a really good game. Yeah, it just bumped into my top 100. In fact, did it fall? Yeah, it fell from 56, so it's been in my top 100 twice.
Well, there you go.
All right, so moving on to our number 44.
Number 44.
To you?
My number 44 is a game that used to be 26. Again, it dropped just a little bit. Not by much. It is by one of my now newer favorite designers and friend of the podcast, John D. Clare. This is his card crafting
Oh, okay. I thought it was the other one, but
deck
no, that was
buildery, probably deck buildery shenanigans. This is Mystic Veil.
Yeah.
I need to buy more Mystic Veil stuff.
Honestly, I need to play this again because I had such a bad taste the first time we played.
Right. No, and I know exactly why you did, and I know that that's not the normal way it's played.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is supposed to be one of the... Like, it tells you, once you know how to press your luck, you're going to be doing that on other players' turns. Like, the point of your turn is for you to enable your stuff, and everyone else doesn't care because they're too busy deciding whether they press their luck or not.
Yeah.
Because that's when they're playing. So, it's not that it has simultaneous play, because it doesn't, but you can do a significant portion of your turn during another player's turn.
Cool.
Which is pretty awesome. It has like turn overlap. But what this is you have about 20 cards in your deck. Everyone has the same deck of cards. And you're buying other cards to make the deck better. But instead of actually making your deck, or like buying more cards to add to your deck, like most deck builders are, this you're buying like clear overlays of cards. Like you slide it on top of the cards. And so sometimes you can add cards together that make really cool combos. You have abilities to make really crazy overpowered cards. You have abilities to make like your deck overall just better and cleaned up and whatever. It works really well. There's a little bit of press your luck. It's not so much of a press your luck game. It's more of a resource management game. But it's just a brilliant system that he used. He ended up designing it after streamlining Edge of Darkness into this game. Mm-hmm. And Mystic Veil was what came out, and it works really well. I like it a lot. That's my number 40-something, whatever we're on. 45.
45?
44.
44, yeah. I was like, we're just starting a new one.
Yeah.
So my number 44 was on my list originally. It only fell a few spots compared to some of these other games. It went from 39 to 44, so not that big of a fall.
Yeah.
This one is the only game I kept when we did our last sale because everybody was surprised I sold its successor.
Wow.
And this one for me is Champions of Midgard.
Yeah.
This is my favorite so far of Grey Fox games. I still have to play Tsukiyumi.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy Grey Fox. I like Deception, Murder in Hong Kong.
Sure, yeah.
But this is my favorite. This is Champions of Midgard. It's a worker placement with a little dice chucking, battling, making sure you give bad things to other people by trolling them, in a sense. I think it's blame? You're handing out blame, I think is what it is.
Yeah, something like that.
But I love this game a lot. I love it is a bit lucky. I will say, caveat-wise, though, do not play it without the Valhalla expansions. The other expansion, the Dark Mountain expansion, is a great expansion.
That was the first time I enjoyed playing it.
You need to play it with the Valhalla expansion because it gives you a reason to let your dice die.
Yeah.
Because then you could play on the Valhalla board and buy cards that way as well. Yeah. So I think it's phenomenal. It makes the dice chucking a lot more relevant in this game. Trying to get the different resources because, well, look, my Berserker died. But now I can go over here and play this stuff. So, yeah, it's a great game. I love it. But, again, a caveat. It needs to be played with an expansion. You can play with both, but I prefer especially Valhalla.
Okay. Very good. Number 43.
Mm-hmm. To me, my number 43 is new to the list. Shock. This one I've been looking at and wanting to play it. It's a very, very heavy deck builder.
Ooh,
it is
heavy
one of the heaviest deck builders I've ever played.
Okay.
But I love it. One, it's historical.
Okay.
Ish. And it's really enjoyable. I've played it both solo and 2 players, and I've had a great time playing this one. It's relatively newish for me. I think I got it around my birthday, I want to say, last year. And it's made it this far up the list.
Have I played this one?
No, you have not.
Okay, that explains why I don't know it.
This one is Imperium Classics or Legends. It is a heavier game because you're playing in different ages. It's a civilization / historical aspect. I prefer Classics, but I do own Legends as well because the Classics more true to history, where in Legends you have Arthonians and stuff like that. So you have mysticism and stuff like that. But yeah, you have the Celts who are all about forcing the game to make other people basically lose, because once a certain deck, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a bad card that goes into your deck. Mm-hmm. Once that deck runs out, the game immediately ends. And so, but the Celts don't ignore that. So, but they're also trying to force feed those to other people. And the Romans are really easy, but it's phenomenal. You, like I said, you're playing in different things, and one of the things is it does differently is when your deck runs out, you don't automatically reshuffle. When you reshuffle, there's something that you can add to your deck when you reshuffle, and that's how you get further along into the next era. But you don't do it all the time. When you do draw a card into that deck and you shuffle, you put a piece over there, so the next time you have to reshuffle your deck, you're not drawing another card until that piece comes off of it.
Oh, I gotcha.
So there's different ways you can mitigate that. It's like, oh, look, I got to draw up, I got to reshuffle, I can put this card in here, oh, I'll do that. Because towards the end of the round, you wipe all tokens off. So that way, oh, now I got to reshuffle at the end of my turn, I get to take another card. And that's a way you can get 2 cards into the deck and force it faster. There's a lot of mitigation, but there's a lot of headiness, because there's this deck, and then you're buying from this deck, and then you're pushing your luck with this deck, and this card does this thing, but this card does this thing, and this card stays in front of you because it's this thing, and it's heady, but it is good. It is a really, really good game.
Cool. Awesome. Good choice. My number 43 is a game that was number 15, so another one that dropped quite a bit.
Your top 20.
Out of my top 20, and the reason it dropped was because...
Lack of play?
No, I've played it a few times, but not too many. But not enough, apparently. But there's one fundamental flaw that I see that this has compared to any other with the same mechanism.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is it's a pool building game. And in every other pool building game that I play, like deck builders or whatever, is that you go through your deck, you draw up your hand, you play it out, and they all go to a discard pile until eventually when your deck is out, you reshuffle your discard pile. This doesn't do that. This, you have all your tokens that go into the bag every single round.
Oh, it's Quacks.
Quacks of Quedlinburg. And everything else about the game is absolutely phenomenal, but that one little thing does irk me just a little bit, which it makes sense to do it,
Yeah.
Like but that having everything you buy goes straight into the bag instead of just being left off and discarded until that point, that makes it a little more random and a little more chaotic. But then it gets it to the fun quicker, which I think is also still kind of okay.
Yeah.
But when like that immediately puts it just a little bit back behind a lot of deck builders.
My thing about with Quacks, I really like it, to go against what you're saying, is that it's one of the better push your lucks aspect, because even if you bust, you still get something. You're not, hurt too much.
Right, exactly. They're starting to realize that, like, once you bust and you're completely done, like, that's not a big deal.
And that's why I really like it for that reason. I understand what you're saying.
Right. That was the only reason I think it fell below some other deck builders or pool builders that might be later on the list.
Not Orleans.
No, not Orleans. Oh, I did not care for that one much. But I feel like it would have done that same thing. Like Orleans, you at least discard your pieces to the side and refill. So at least it has that function better. But everything else about it was just less fun than Quacks, because Quacks is just absolute shenanigans and works really well.
My big thing about Quacks, and like I said, a big part of my list here is fun.
Yes.
Is that you can egg on other players, and it's just a bunch of shenanigans. It's a bunch of joking. It's a good rip roaring.
Keep going. Yeah, that was my number 43. Was number 15 Quacks of Quedlinburg. Number 42. You're starting us off.
All right, number 42 in the penultimate of this list. This technically is new to the list. Its predecessor wasn't on this list. It was originally ranked 220. But this version of this game, I adore. I have a great time with it. I love the characters in this one. I love what it does. In fact, I don't know if it's on your list or has already been on your list, or it's going to be higher on your list.
I'll take a look.
But I think it's going to be a crossover if it isn't already. And this one is...
Quacks of Quedlinburg.
No, Battle Yahtzee.
Oh, Dice Throne. That was on my list.
Me specifically, I picked Marvel Dice Throne. That's the copy I actually own. Like I said, the original one was
Dice Throne
220.
is my number 94.
Number 94. So Marvel Dice Throne is my number 42. Apparently, I like this game more than you do.
Yep.
But it's because, again, I love Marvel. Like I was mentioning, I enjoy superhero stuff. I love comic book stuff. And they really made these characters feel like their characters. And basically, you're just matching a straight or symbols, a full house symbols and stuff like that, and do special powers. But I like what it does. Like Miles Morales has a spider sense, so if he gets those things, you can't hit him because the spider sense is put it on you, and you can't hit him. It's really well done. It's a great system to the point where I'm kind of thinking about and going back and picking up some of the other the re-rolled stuff if I have extra cash later on, because again, I'm leaving for a trip soon, and then I got another trip in October, so I have to pay for a passport too.
Fun.
Yeah.
Passports are alright though. They're cool.
Yeah, they're not difficult, but we need to get that sooner rather than later, because it takes about 11 to 12 weeks to get your passport.
At least, yeah.
And we leave in October.
I can tell you where to get the pictures and everything if you want.
The post office.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just have to download the applications and fill them out and then take it to the post office.
Walmart will actually do it as well.
Oh, okay.
At least they used to.
Yeah, I don't know.
They still do.
But yeah, back to gaming. Marvel Dice Throne is my number 42.
Awesome. My number 42 used to be number 163
Nice,
on my
so
list,
fun.
and I think that was a fluke because this goes over so well in our family. My son just started getting into it about a year ago, and he really liked it. In fact, we played it last night. However, this needs to have both expansions in it, and every time I teach it to people new, I'll throw in both expansions. It's that easy. This game I originally bought when I used to live in Albuquerque from Walmart, and it's not a mass market game. That's what blew my mind when I first saw it. I want to say in 2015 when I bought it.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on this one.
It's basically like Settlers of Catan, the card game, but your only resources is money. Machikoro, come on, you know this game.
Oh, yeah, well.
Come on.
Yeah, you know how long it's been since I played Machikoro?
Too long.
Before you moved to Albuquerque.
From where?
Your house. You had Machikoro.
I bought it when I moved to Albuquerque. Well, I bought it at that Walmart.
Well,
so it could not have been that.
Maybe when you just
Probably
moved back.
when I moved back.
Yeah, because my wife did not. Yeah, because you were still at your in-laws.
It's a little random, but
my wife didn't. I have Legacy up there. I haven't played it.
It's okay. Yeah, I like Legacy quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, I own all the versions of Machikoro right now. I played Legacy. I played the original one with both expansions. I have Machikoro 2. That works really well as well. Machikoro, Bright Light Big City. They're all pretty good. I just don't have the original Japanese version, which I think is functionally the same. But no, I mean, it's just a solid game. Your only resource is money. You're trying to buy buildings, which will get you money in different ways. And those money in different ways will let you buy other buildings. First to build all of your landmarks, which is 4 in the base game, 6 or 7 with the expansions, wins the game. It's simple. But it works really well.
It's real simple, but there's games that do it a whole bunch of better, which will be showing up on your list and fell out of my list.
I mean, maybe, yeah. I know there's definitely one game that does it better. Yes, I agree with you. However, the fact that this does it so efficiently does it really well.
Demons does it better and much more fun.
I'm not saying it's not more fun, but Let's Summon Demons is not better.
It's better.
No, it's not
more
balanced.
Fun
it's not nearly as
better.
balanced. No, not necessarily. Functionally, it's not as good of a game. But either way, Machikoro, that's my number 42 from 163.
It deserved to be a 163.
I didn't think I would get hate from this one, but all right. I guess I am.
No, I'm fine with it, but to me, it's like a 6.
Yeah.
My wife, it's like a 3 to her.
Maybe you need to try it with the expansions. That's probably why.
No, we did play with the expansions. I remember because there was a 6th building, and you were explaining that was an expansion.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because I remember, and she's like, no, I don't like it.
That's fine.
And I was like, There's other games. The reason why I like it, too, is that unless you roll like a red card, that's the only one that affects other players. That's it.
Right. Oh,
and
purple.
Well, yes, but
Yeah,
I
you
like
have
it
to
where you're paying attention to everybody's turn in something like, say, Space Base, which didn't Space Base didn't make my list. It just bounced out.
Right.
And Let Summon Demons, because you're paying attention to everybody's turn.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't have a red or a purple card, then you're not paying attention to other people's turn, and it takes you out.
Yep.
But moving to a 41.
That sounds like a you problem, though. Just kidding. Number 41.
To me. All right, so the last one for this week. This is the higher Phil Walker Harding game, and I think this is the highest, or there might be one that's slightly higher.
Really?
Yeah, there is one that's slightly higher than this one.
You really like this one?
Yeah, you looked at it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, it's peeked over right now.
Yeah, and it's because, one, it's requested by my wife, and so we've played it a little bit more. She really enjoys this one. Like I said, It's a Wonderful World is a great drafting game. This is another drafting game. Phil Walker Harding.
This number 679.
Yeah. This is Planted, a game of nature and nurture. My wife loves this game. She adores it. It's probably, if she did a top 100, it'd be in her top 10.
Yeah.
She likes this one a lot. I'm fine with it. I like the theme. I'm fine with, but the game is really good. I like the fact that you either use your card to buy a plant, use your card to gain a resource, or use your card to give you special powers. So one section of it could be like a tool can give you an extra resource depending on which card you play, like the double sun or the single sun. Yeah. Speaking of Buffalo games and well produced,
the components are just amazing.
And then the other part of it is you could do something that helps you with scoring at the end of the game, like score this many points for every floor plant you have, or shelf plant that you have, or hanging plant you have, or score an additional point or something like that for this or that. I love the fact that you can propagate if you have leftover resources, which just gives you a point at the end of the game. It's really well done. It's really streamlined to play quickly too. It 30 minutes. I played a 4-player game of this, 30 minutes.
Wow.
So it plays really well. It says because it's a drafting game, but it's real-time drafting. So you grab your card, you play your card, you gather your resources, stuff like that. Slow it down first couple plays. Just like everybody pick their card, play it face down, draft, play it up, gather your resources all at the same time, but go slow, because if you're okay, boom, 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 you're gonna get confused sometimes. It's happened where it's like you're just doing it's like, wait, which cards am I grabbing now? So go do fast, but slow it down a little bit. This way, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna pick these up until I see everybody else is starting to pick up their things. This way, because it's confusing. Because it moves so fast. It's like, wait, which way we're going? But I do thoroughly enjoy this game.
Yeah. This, the only reason I don't like it nearly as much as you do is because I feel like Phil Walker Harding has done almost every aspect of this game better. Like, I mean, getting resources to fulfill plans, like fulfilling stuff. I feel, Gizmos does that better. Drafting, I feel Sushi Go does that better. There's a lot of the parts that I like about it. Mm-hmm. He just has done better in another game. It has nothing against the game itself. I just feel like that's the reason it fell flat for me. But the components.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Buffalo. Good job.
Which is interesting about it. This is one of his cheaper games.
Yes.
But it has quite possibly better components than, say, Gizmos or Emotep and stuff like that, because the plastic suns, the plastic water drops, the screen printed wooden pieces, really phenomenal stuff. The art is really great in this too. Don't get me wrong, Gizmos has great components, but it's just marbles. I mean, you can go buy a bag of marbles anywhere.
Right, exactly. No, I don't disagree with you. Like that's one of those reasons that Buffalo sets themselves apart, right?
And the big thing about it for me, and I know why it's higher on this list, and if we do this again, say in a couple years, it might go further back on my list and drop. It's just because it's got that I guess nostalgia, but it's not really nostalgia. But my wife really enjoys it, so she requests to play this game, and I get excited when my wife requests to play board games with me because she's not a gamer. So when she's like, "Hey, let's play some Gloomhaven," or say, "Hey, let's play some Planted," I'm like, "Okay." And that's why it's probably so high on my list, because one, it's a cute game, two, it's really well done, and three, it's a game that my wife requests.
Yeah, that's a good reason. My last one today, number 41, is a game that was a damn it, Daniel.
You're welcome.
I am. This is a really good game, and it's because it does cooperative in a very different way. It's no longer do some good stuff, then do some bad stuff. Do some good stuff, then do some bad stuff. No. This is a game where you are all trying to survive as cavemen. Paleo.
Yeah.
Paleo is so good.
It's so good.
And it has no right being as good. I like the different backs. You have different backs of cards. You have a general understanding of what's coming up. And you look at the back of the 3, and you choose one of them to encounter. The other 2 go back on your deck. Very simple. And then you all encounter all your cards simultaneously, and then you hope that you can just survive, and or that somebody didn't do anything crazy. There's so much variability. The components are great. There's like 8 different packets of cards that you can use, different scenarios and different combinations. There's components I haven't even used yet because I haven't played that far. This was, I think, the Kennerspiel winner, right?
Yeah, it's the Kenner.
Yeah, the Kennerspiel winner.
2020, I think?
Something like that, yeah. Paleo, it is absolutely phenomenal. I see why it was the winner. Great job. Yeah, I love this game.
So, quick spoiler.
Very happily have it in my list.
Quick spoiler alert. You pretty much beat me when it comes to crossovers because I was just looking up a head of list. Oh, yeah. And we're at 8 right now.
Oh, I know.
We're at 8 right now.
Huh?
I know for a fact on the next list we're going to hit 3.
Yep.
So, you're closer.
I'm closer. Well, we'll see. You never know.
Oh, no. I know.
But
I know, in fact,
out of all the
probably
meta
4 or
games,
5 games, yeah.
Out of all the meta games, it's not rare, or it's not that common that I win.
Yeah.
But I will take this victory.
Before we finish up and close up this set, there was one thing we wanted to talk about before in this podcast. So thank you for staying this long, and we'll be quick about this. But it has to do with a game that was on your list today. Gloomhaven.
Gloomhaven, yeah. So yeah, there's been this thing online, and we just want to talk about this real quick because we thought it was interesting. Because for some reason, I guess what happened was enough people started rating Brass Birmingham really well on BoardGameGeek.com.
Which is fine. It's a good game.
If you like the game, you like the game, right?
I think I rated 8 or 9 myself.
Yeah, and I haven't played it, but I do want to. And apparently, and it got enough traction where it hit 100. But because of that, people started upvoting Gloomhaven to take over that thing. And then because of that, people started downvoting both of them, depending on which side you are.
Guys, come on. Yeah. First off, the rankings are not that important. It's fun to say, hey, I've owned this game. Gloomhaven was the #1 game for a long time. Right. At least, I'm going to say 2018. The game came out in 2017 from what BGG says, but I'm going to say it probably took #1, say 2018 or 2019. Right. It had a nice run. Same with Twilight Struggle, Twilight Struggle and not Twilight Imperium, but Pandemic Legacy and stuff like that.
Right.
It's fine if other games overtake it. The review bombing is ridiculous, in all honesty.
Yeah, exactly. Like, really, when you rate something a 10, that means that it functionally cannot get any better. It's as near to a perfect game as possible, and you like everything about it, including components, theme, everything, right? And it hits on all cylinders.
I will tell you right now, Gloomhaven, I rate a 10 because it hits all cylinders for me. I love every aspect of this game. Now, I have replaced components because they offer metal coins.
Right. Yeah, and the way that... I was watching a review video today. Chris Yee of the Dice Tower, he was reviewing a game, and he rated it a 3 out of 10. And he said, it was like, functionally, yes, it does technically work. That's why it's getting a 3.
Yeah.
It's not fun. It's not enjoyable. Like, and he explained all these videos, like, but functionally, yes,
it works.
That's why it's getting a 3.
Yeah.
A 1 is broken, and all the pieces are terrible, and it's just absolutely awful. Like, some of the stuff that I used to play on the bottom shelf show.
Yeah.
Because I
won a game,
a few of them,
even though I lost the game.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, like, when it's games that are, like, functionally broken and really bad, that's when it's a 1. I've never played Brass Birmingham, but I know that is not a 1. No, even if that is not your style.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't be that person that goes in there and ranks it a 1 because you like something else better. You're
Rank
being a
the games
gatekeeper
you like. If you rate Brass Birmingham, let's just say a 3 or a 4 or a 5, that is an actual review because you're saying, I don't like this game.
Yes.
If you're just rating it as a 1 because you want your other game, like Gloomhaven, to move back up into its number 1 spot, you're not doing anybody any favors. No. And a big key, and I will say the name, Thomas Covert, the guy who runs Board Game Revolution, when he was talking about it, he's like, don't pay attention to the numbers. Go and read the reviews. Yes. Like, so if someone puts a 10 on it and has a review to it, that's going to tell you why this person likes it. If someone rated, say, Gloomhaven a 3 and has a review to it, basically saying, hey, this is why I didn't like it, this, and this, and this, that has more power than someone just going in there and rating it a 1 and then walking away.
Yeah, because if somebody who rates it a 1, that means they haven't played it, realistically. I mean, and I'm not saying games can't be 1s, they can, but, like, let's say
I don't think I've ever rated a game a 1. I think my lowest is maybe a 3 or 2.
I'm pretty sure I've rated a 1 before, but like I'm talking like it was a bottom shelf game,
mind you.
For a reason.
I also don't put my review on it because I don't want to type.
Exactly.
But if someone asks me, well, why'd you rate it a 10? Here's why. Right. I can tell you why I rated it such a way.
Right. And so let's use an example. We don't always talk about this game, but Architects of the West Kingdom. Mm-hmm. I don't like that game in the slightest. Would I ever go rate it a 1? No. Because here's the thing. Even though I feel like one part of the mechanism is broken to the point where it ruined my experience, everything else about the game was functional. Mm-hmm. The art was decent. And I understand why you enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And I understand why many people enjoy it. That would be about a 5 or a 6 for me because of how bad my experience was.
I think I rated an 8.
Yeah. And that's a very reasonable, like, and I would go on there if I was actually ranking it, because I don't do that. But if I did, I would go on there and I would explain, look, this one mechanism is what soured it for me.
Yeah.
And then that way, if people read my review and go, oh, wow, I don't think I would like that part of it, then that would skew them away from it, which is the point. We're trying to get people games that they like.
Yeah.
Rating, I mean, I don't believe that anybody truly thinks Brass Birmingham or Gloomhaven is functionally flawed to the point where they get 1 votes.
Yeah. No, even if I didn't like Brass Birmingham, I wouldn't rank it a 1, because it is a solid game. It has good mechanisms to it. It's got okay art. If you have the deluxe edition, it has really good components for it. Mm-hmm. But all in all, functionally, it is not a bad game. So even if I didn't like it, the most I could rate it is like a 5.
Even if you absolutely hated the theme, if it functionally works, that's worth at least a few points.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I'm just trying to see where I had Brass ranked, but I think I have my thing where it's like my previous owners.
But again, we just saw that in the news. We thought it was interesting. People are going to be people everywhere.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, a big part of it too is I think Board Game Geek needs to do something about that, because I don't know how they would do it, but I mean, Rotten Tomatoes and other places have fixed where review bombing can't hurt something. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Because it was a big problem back in like the 2020 and stuff like that, where people were like the woke industry and they would just review bomb something before it even came out.
Yeah.
And it's just because they don't like the way Disney has been running lately, and so they go and review bomb a Marvel movie or a Star Wars movie without even watching it. So. Yeah.
Exactly. Nah, that's more work than the game is.
Yeah, I don't know how they fix it, but again, it's just people's opinions. Everybody has one.
Yeah, if you're not sure if something should be that, I mean, congratulations to Brass Birmingham.
Yeah, and like I said, Mont Wallace, it's a great game, even to the point where Isaac Childress in Cephalair Games. Cephalofair came out and said, "Hey, congratulations! Let's all go get a beer or something like that," because that's one of the stuff in there. And I thought that was great, because it's the same thing that happened with when Frosthaven overtook board games in Kickstarter. Yeah. Kingdom Death Monster went and said, congratulated them for doing that. It doesn't have to be a competition. Yeah. You're got to be happy for the other guy, because this is a hobby that we all love.
Yeah. The more
less negativity and more positivity.
That's right. That's right. And even though me and this guy constantly bicker about stuff like that, we're in it for the right reason.
Yeah, it's all in jest too.
There's no reason to harsh somebody's mellow.
You like Machi Coral. I don't.
Yeah.
I give you grief about it, but I also do like, hey, have fun with it. You like it.
Would you rate Lupin Louie a 1?
No, I would rate Lupin Louie, and I think I have rated it. I think it's a 4 for me.
Okay.
And it's just because there's one piece that makes it broken, where someone can play so good that you'll never have a turn.
Right.
That's fine, because
if that was somehow fixed.
Yeah, I might like it a little bit more. Yeah, but it's not. It's a functional game and know what it's doing. But I wouldn't rate it a 1 because it's not completely useless.
Right.
It's got great components. It's got decent art. It does well what it does, but it could take someone out of it. I'd rate it a 4.
Yeah. There you go. That's already above a 1.
It's one of my least favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
To the point, it's my veto power.
That's true. Was that my veto? Which one was Architects?
Architects is your veto.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad I don't want to talk about that one anymore. Anyway, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you ever want to join us on a live episode of one of our top 10s, top 100s, or any of our future episodes, join us at twitch.tv/everydayboardgames. And we didn't give a shout out, but the Wary Warlord, if you're still with us, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you.
As well as all video re-uploads can be found at YouTube at Everyday Board Games 2020. And if you like what we do, there are 3 things you can do to help us grow on that platform. Subscribe if you're not, like the video, and comment down below and tell us your thoughts on the subject. As well as all audio versions can be found on most podcast platforms under Everyday Board Games Podcast. This includes Spotify, Google, Amazon Music, and Podbean.
If you disagree with our ending comments, or if you agree, send us an email at everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. You can also send us emails at that email address for any future requests, even just to say hi, tell us about what you do or don't like about the episode, or even give us ideas for future episodes and or contests in the future.
As well as normally we finish this off by saying you can also get in contact with us on our official Twitter account. That's no more.
This is news to me.
We still have it, but I'm the one that usually ran it. I deleted Twitter off my phone. I was just tired of it. I didn't want to deal with it. So
fair enough for me.
The email's the best way for us to get a hold of us.
So again, everydayboardgames2020@gmail.com. Tell us if you like that decision, whether Daniel took Twitter off of his phone. Either way, as always, I want to thank you for listening. I've been your host, Daniel.
And I've been your host, Daniel.
And thank you for listening to Everyday Board Games.
And remember, every day is a good day for board gaming.